with us. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. We are here each and every Monday through Friday, 12 to 3 Eastern. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. Joining us now has an excellent podcast, which you should check out, called Pro Fan Talk. You follow him on Twitter as well, at Coach_Markus, Marcus with a K, 06, former Eagles player. Markus Thomas, what's happening, Marcus? How you making out, man?
Man, what's going on? It's been a frustrating last couple of days after this.
Don't tell me you like these two. You're still jonesing over the Monday night. It's time to move on. Move ahead to better days.
D-Gun, listen, man, and Barrett will understand this. As a player, the worst thing you can do is give away a game.
Oh,
I don't mind getting beat. I don't mind getting beat. If we give our best shot and they give us their best shot and they came out better, I can handle that. But when you give a game away, nah. That does not sit right to me, and it just sucks.
But it wasn't a season-ending game. It was a blip on the radar. They have a much bigger game coming up this Sunday against another team that's going to try to run it down their throat. You don't have time to pout. It's time to move on.
You don't. You are 100% right. But still, it sucks.
And there lies the problem. You know, I mean, we hurt ourselves. It's all self-inflicted wounds, more so than what they did to us. You know, the fumbles, the interception, the not allowing you to run the ball. I mean, they had the ball for 6 minutes and 11 seconds in the first half.
That's embarrassing.
I thought they thought that maybe Miles Sanders had COVID or something, like they didn't want to use him. I was like, what's just going on?
Yeah, one carry first half. Unbelievable.
Oh, my God, man. And I don't understand why everybody in their mama know we can run the ball. Why don't we start with the run first?
Exactly.
Because once you start with the run, the play action and everything else falls from that. The dominoes will roll after that, but you got to establish the run. And it drives me nuts, especially as a running back, that they don't do that. How you gonna have a man that's averaging 5 yards a carry and not roll with that? If you go, Miles Sanders is running like a number one back. Run him like a number one back. Run him till they stop him, because that's what they did to us. That's what the Texans did to us. So everybody has the game plan. You know, the further you go on in the season, everybody gets tape on you, and everybody cherry picks what works. I believe somebody said that earlier in the show, and that's what you're supposed to do. They know what works against us. We know what works against them, but for some reason, they like old folks stuck in their ways. They don't want to change up, man. And it's like,
well, okay, Mark. So let me ask you then, because everybody's destroying Gannon. Why doesn't Steichen wear some of this?
In my mind, he should. But it's a weird juxtaposition, because you want to complain, but it's hard to complain when you were 8-0.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a weird thing that's going on, because we see stuff. We see stuff, but it's like,
you're nitpicking.
Exactly. And you can't, there's not really much you can say. You get mad at your kids. They do stuff to get on your nerves, but when they come home with straight A's on the report card, what you gonna do? Mm-hmm. So you kind of deal with it until a situation like this happens. And then, the floodgates open up. But really, when you look at the game, that wasn't why we lost. We lost because we didn't take advantage of those, in my opinion, those two plays specifically. Take the Dallas Goedert play out, because bad plays happen. That's a wash. Yes, it should have been a face mask, but we also benefited from a BS offensive pass interference call that the Commanders got. So stuff like that is a wash. But when A.J. Brown had the ball in his hands and it bounced off his hands and they get a pick, that's the one play. And then the play with Quez Watkins.
Two plays that we're done. Yeah, exactly.
If we make those two plays, if we take advantage of those opportunities, if we don't leave that money on the table, like Jalen Hurts says, we win the game. That is why it's so frustrating.
True. Well, I'm and that's why I'm still mad. Like D-Gun at this point doesn't understand why I'm still pissed off. Bro, I was so hot yesterday, man. I didn't have a bad show yesterday, but I had a frustrating show to myself. You know what I'm saying? I was noticeably pissed off throughout the day. You know what I'm saying? Kids, leave me alone. My youngest daughter, 20 years old, comes to me with great news. I'm about to be a pop again. You know what I'm saying?
Congratulations,
Bob.
Bob.
Yeah, Bob.
I didn't know if you wanted to share that on the air. I would have said it right off the top.
So I'm happy
honestly,
about
Derek,
it.
that's why I didn't say anything. I didn't know, but congratulations, man.
Thank you. I mean, I'm loving the situation, but it was still a little angst in how I'm like,
got to build it up.
Freaking Eagles, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm still a little pissed off, but hey, I'm starting to get over it until I get on here with D Gun, and he just keeps eating at me too. He's eating.
How am I eating? I have done nothing but bring up facts. Have I not just brought up facts?
I don't want your facts, Derek.
Don't let the facts get in the way.
Don't let the facts get in the way with my sulking. And then and off the top of the show, you're gonna ask me, "Are you guys over it yet?" Do it sound like I'm over it? You knew I wasn't over it when we was in the meeting.
It's Wednesday. I'll give you 24 hours to sulk. It's
Barry, what you say that? What did you say earlier? Death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah, exactly.
And D Gun is smacking you with a wet rag full of lemon juice.
Hey, Marcus, I'm putting all kind of alcohol in those cups.
Pouring lemon juice on you.
Oh man, but I mean, it is what it is. We understand, and that's the biggest thing is the past 2 weeks. Well, it's 3 weeks now, but we were going into being a passing team when running the ball is really what we do best. I hate that we have that in our back pocket because we know it's there. We know it's there. And we don't pull it out enough. We only pull it out when we have to. Why not lead with it like we were doing at the beginning of the season when things were rolling? Lead with it, take control of the game, beat up on teams, and then start passing.
Because they're smarter than we are, Barry.
Well, here's the question I have: offensively, defensively, whatever. As you said, your kid's still bringing home straight A's. It's hard to really get on them. Okay, well, you just failed a test. So now, how different is this week because of the loss on both sides of the football going into Sunday's game?
Well, the expectations are there now. Not that they weren't there before, but now, and it's even weird saying this, everybody knows what the issue is.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody knows that John Taylor had a great game last week. They got a good game. I'm with Barrett. That is not a good team, but they got a good run game. So we got to stop them. Everybody knows what they're going to do. We're not going to get beat by Matt Ryan, but you know what? We got beat by Taylor Heineke, so you can't say that anymore. So the expectations are going to change a little bit because now we know, what they're coming with. You already know. So you got to make an adjustment. And if you don't make an adjustment, then we're going to look at you, Jonathan Gannon, with the arched eyebrow. Because it's one thing when you walk in a situation with your eyes open. You know what's coming. You already know what you're dealing with. You got to make the adjustments. And for some reason, again, it seems like he's stuck in his ways. And even though you got the different pieces, he just wants to stick everything in the square open, the square hole. They all fit, but that's not where they're supposed to go. You got to start doing something different because what you're doing kind of ain't working.
What would you do differently defensively? What would you do to shake this thing up?
Honestly, I saw what Sil said. Do we need to put Nakobe Dean back there, have an extra linebacker back there until we get Big Jordan Davis back? I don't know. But we got to do something. You got to do something different. I will defer to Gannon when I say, you know what? Yes, he does know more about defense than I do. But I do know that the optics say what you're doing isn't quite working. So you got to change something. That's why you get paid the money. You got to change something, and you're still doing the same thing. So you got to just adjust it. Don't change everything, but you can tweak it a little bit.
He's still going to play COVID secondary. You got premier corners. He's got cornerbacks playing COVID secondary. Why are you not coming up and pressing receivers? Why?
Man to man, please.
Why are you not bump and run? You got them playing the COVID protocol back there. I mean, seriously?
Where we are right now, in our sense that that they're getting the fullness of the situation being, like, all right, this is a must win. I mean, we got to get back on track. Or do you think they're like, all right, we messed up, let's just keep rolling, we'll be okay? Where do you think their urgency is in the situation?
I think they understand the urgency. Now, how that manifests remains to be seen. because they're going to go in the film room and watch what they did wrong. Fletcher Cox is going to see what he did and didn't do on film and how lazy he looked, and the optics of it just wasn't right. So they're going to see all that. You know how it is. That's the worst critics are the ones in the film room when you watching film, because they'll clown on you and all of that kind of stuff. And you know what? You got to take a big spoonful of humble pie and like, what I'm doing is not working. Self-evaluation. Here are the things that I have to change. And then Gannon, being the leader of that room, has to come out and say, I'm going to put you guys in the best position to succeed. But it's still, at the end of the day, Gannon's not on the field. So, I heard what you were saying about like Quinn. Quinn really hasn't done much, but to me, I'm not really worried about Quinn, because to me, Quinn is in the same boat that Hassan Reddick was in. When Hassan Reddick first started playing, everybody said the same thing. First, 3-4 games, he really didn't do much. But what I saw was a lot of plays where he was almost there, and then all of a sudden the floodgates opened up. I think Quinn is going to be like that too. He's almost been there in a couple of plays, and I just think he's not comfortable yet. He'll get there, but for the most part, they got to tweak something. I don't know what it is, but they got to do something.
Well, another thing is, I'm sorry if I'm, taking somebody else's turn, but I can't agree with the stream right now. TJ Edwards is not useless. TJ Edwards is a damn good player. TJ Edwards, the bleeding would be even more severe if TJ Edwards wasn't there. Exactly. He is the rock in the middle of that defense, and without him, we'd be way worse than what we are right now. Now, I hear everybody talking about bringing in Dean, but Dean is just not a better player than TJ Edwards right now. He's just not. Maybe if you want to play him, you want to play Nakobe Dean, then maybe you have a scheme where they take out a safety and bring in and run 3 linebackers in the game as opposed to running just 2 like they do in their 40 package. But we cannot take TJ Edwards. He is that good of a player. He was not getting blocked like that. It wasn't that. He was just getting defensive linemen dumped in his lap, and that's why he couldn't necessarily do things. TJ Edwards is a good player. Please watch the tape. Please watch the film before you just, all of a sudden think he's just a non-factor. He is definitely a factor, and it would have been a lot worse if he wasn't there.
Thanks.
So you got to watch the film.
All right, let's go to the other side of the ball. We talked about the lack of running game. This was an exceptional kind of game where they turned the ball over, which we haven't seen all year, Marcus. But what would you like to see? Is it as obvious as just establish the run early and let everything work off of that? What are you looking at offensively here?
Yes, 2 things: establish the run early, and then my consistent pet peeve is we need more runs with Jalen Hurts under center. I watched that Green Bay and Dallas game, and I was like, look at what you can do when you line your back up 6 to 7 yards deep and let him go downhill. Mm-hmm. Everything's going forward. Everything is going north and south, and it makes your play action that much better. And that's, I think, what we can do, because that sets up everything. It makes the linebacker step up, and it makes the middle of the field open up a little bit more, give you a little bit more space. It sets up your screens better, but you got to do it. You have to do it. I remember hearing all of the chatter when everybody wanted us to get CMC. And I'm like, if we get him, what are we going to do with him? Because if we do something different, if we had a different player, that means we could do it now. And we're just not doing it. So we got to use that situation better, set up our play action and everything better. And I think we can do that. Putting Jalen Hurts under center, you're still going to go run gun and pistol. That's not going anywhere. But we got to get some more with him under center. So just so you can make those linebackers respect that, hey, we got a running back that averages 5.0 yards a carry, and he can run the rock.
Which will open up the middle of the field.
You got well, that too. How big a loss is Goddard?
Goddard is an important piece, but me personally, I'm a big fan of Stola and Calcaterra. I really like Calcaterra. His size and speed is kind of snuck under the radar. Now I know he had the concussion thing coming in, and a lot of people he was just off the radar for such a long time. But the kid is fast, and he's big, and he's got both of them. They got that big what do you call it? the catch radius that everybody likes.
Catch radius, yep.
And remember, Stola's caught a couple of good passes this year. He hasn't had many opportunities and many targets, but when he catches the ball, he can make some things happen. He's got some pretty decent yak. So I don't think that's as much of a decline as people might think. Dallas Goedert is one of the top 5 tight ends in the league, but I think credit to Howie again. We got some good backups at tight end.
How intrigued are you to see what this Tyree Jackson can do if he plays on Sunday? Because I think from the small sample we saw a couple of years ago, this kid has unlimited potential.
We'll see. Potential and optics. You'll see it when you see it. The same thing like we're talking about, because I was one of the ones on the bandwagon for Covey. Give him his shot. So I hope the kid gets in there and does some things and, takes advantage of his opportunities.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Like I wasn't a big proponent of Covey even making the team. And everybody's like, oh, Covey's got to do this, he's going to do that. I just thought
crash test Covey.
Right.
Barrett had a Covey t-shirt, man. Don't let him fool you.
No, I mean, I didn't. I was the one saying I didn't think he was going to make the team. He made the team, so I had to eat my words. But it hadn't worked out,
I don't know how much is like it very well could be him, but it just seems to me like they weren't blocking it up before him either. All that,
no,
exactly.
It
just seems like all across the board they haven't.
Yeah, and yes, I did say that they were going to blow the Washington Commanders out. Yes, I did say I was going to blow them. They were going to blow them out, and they should have blown them out, even as well as the Commanders played a perfect game against the Eagles, a perfect game. But yet the Eagles were 3 plays away from winning the game. So they shot their best. They shot everything out. They gave the full arsenal what they had, and they beat us. But we still had an opportunity to win the game. If we were clicking in any type of way, if we had the ball for 20, if we had the ball for 15 minutes as opposed to having 6 minutes and 11 seconds, we'd have won the game. We didn't do what Eagles football is, and that's run the ball consistently. So yes, every dog has his day. Yes, you can say Barrett Brooks said they were going to blow them out. They should have blown them out. I'm not saying I'm always going to be right, but what I will tell you this: if you look at what they should have done and what they did is 2 polar opposites. Why? How did I know that? How would I know that Fletcher Cox would play the way he played this last game? He shouldn't have played that bad. You shouldn't have turned his back on double teams. You should. I watched one play where it was the tight end one-on-one against Fletcher Cox. It was a double team that ended up being just a single block because the linebacker came and the guard. I mean, the tackle went off and blocked the linebacker, and it was a one-on-one block, and the tight end took Fletcher Cox 8 yards down the field. It was so bad that he turned his back to him and let him push him in the back. That's how bad it was. So there's no way I could imagine that happening with Fletcher Cox. There's no way that I should see anything like that from Fletcher Cox. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I don't know everything, but what I do know about football, that if you do the right things happen, and we didn't do a lot of the right things in this game.
Yeah,
the big eye in the sky don't lie, man. And they'll lie. And they'll go back to that. And be going back to your point about Tyree Jackson. It all comes down to the kid's got all of the metrics. He's tall, another big wingspan, but will they use him?
He can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
You got to find out if he can stay healthy now.
Yeah. You remember when during the World Series when they kept showing Micah Parsons, and there was a big thing on I saw a big thing on social that was like, do we have buyer's remorse because we got Smith instead of Micah Parsons? And I said that's the wrong question. The question is, if we did have Micah Parsons, would he use him like Dallas is using him? Absolutely not.
No.
Exactly.
No.
Absolutely not. So he would not be the player here.
He would be playing 10 yards off the ball.
Correct. And it all comes down to when we have these players in-house, can we use them to their potential? If we do stick Nakobe Dean in there, are we going to let him go and let him loose and let him use his speed and do the things that he did at Georgia? Yep. Yeah, because I'm quite sure at his size in the SEC, they told him the same stuff down in Georgia. him not being big enough is not anything new to him.
Nope.
But you never know until you put the man on the field and let him do what he does.
Bro,
so
he's been that same size, right? He's been that same
all
size
his life.
Yeah,
all his life.
We always have this debate. I'm curious to get your take on it. NFC wise, biggest threat for you? Who scares you the most from an Eagles
NFC?
perspective?
You know what? I wrote this down when y'all was talking about it.
Okay.
Right now is San Francisco.
Yeah.
Because they clicking on all cylinders with their one Achilles heel being Jimmy G. Jimmy G, how far can he take him? But he's in a good situation because now you got 2 elite level players to just dump the ball to. You ain't got to throw the ball down the field. Get that ball to Debo, get that ball to CMC, let them do what they do. That's it.
Who would be after San Fran for you?
I got my 5 was San Fran, Minnesota, the Giants, Dallas, and Tampa Bay.
Okay.
So
yeah, I think we're all in agreement on kind of the teams, and who it looks like here.
But
Minnesota
doesn't scare me that much.
Yeah.
But I got to respect their record.
What about the Giants? Are you buying the Giants?
I'm not quite 100% sold on the Giants, but again, I got to respect their record. I had questions about them every game they played, and every game they keep getting them dubs. So their record says they are who they are. So I'm going to go by that. I know it might look Daniel Jones is suspect, but you know what? They're smart enough to hand the ball to Saquon Barkley most of the time.
Yeah, they're well coached.
2 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards, bam, 30 yards. That's how they've been winning, and that's how they've been doing it. So he understands. Debo understands what he has, and he's using what he has to the best of their ability. He's not trying to make them fit what he wants to do, and that seems to be the difference.
Well, I mean, in saying that, we don't often get on Steichen because Steichen has done a masterful job at running this offense that kind of highlights Hurts' ability to throw the ball. But I think he's starting to get away too much from his ability to run the ball. You know what I'm saying? What I mean, I know it's a delicate balance, especially with the war of attrition going on, guys getting hurt and things of that nature. But you still can't tie his hands behind his back because that's what we didn't want to see in the first place. We want to make sure that he highlights what he does best. But still, you can't open up a little bit. I think we're getting away from it too much at this point with Hurts and his ability to go out there and make plays.
I agree. We're not seeing the RPOs as much. I don't want to see the RPOs a lot, but I still want to see them run it to keep them honest. I still want to see them. There's still some things we could do with formation, spreading people out, putting them in motion, and seeing what you got, and just let Jalen Hurts do what he does. The game, not the Commanders, but
Houston.
Who do we play? Houston. He took a couple of bad sacks, and it seems like the everybody's watched tape, and they send that soft rush, so they don't let him get the running lanes.
Right.
It seems like that's what everybody's doing. We took a sack late in the game against the Commanders like that. He had nowhere to go.
Yep.
Where normally he could step up and just take off. So people are figuring out how to do it. And I said this a couple after the Texans game. That boy, number 55 for the Texans, Hughes.
Yes, Hughes.
Old man Hughes. He put a clinic on how to defend the RPO.
That's right.
He put on a clinic.
Yes, he did.
You stay in the middle, and you protect the inside. Make them go outside, and at least you got some help coming. He put on a clinic on how to do that, and people have figured that out too. So you gotta change it up. Barrett, I agree with you 100%. Keep it under 4 RPOs, but still run the RPOs because nobody knows how to stop it yet. Nobody knows how to stop it.
Mark, as I've said, the last 3 weeks in particular, when you look at defenses that play the Eagles, their ends, who normally are crashing on the RPOs, are doing a much better disciplined job of standing their ground and watching what Hurts is doing instead of just reacting to him going down the line. And that's changed things up again. Now, I know the Eagles don't want him running as much. They want to make him more of a passer in the pocket. But defenses are being more disciplined with this RPO stuff now.
Derek, let me add to your point before Marcus jumps in. So if you look at it, he rushed – I'm going back to the first game. Jalen, 17 times, 11 times, 9 times, 16 times, 15 times. Since then, which picks up with the Dallas game.
Yes.
It's 9, 2, 9, and 6 in terms of attempts. They're way down from earlier in the year.
And Rob, I'm glad you brought that up because Dallas, it was so evident what they were doing. Their edge rushers would rush to a certain point and stop.
Mm-hmm.
They would just stop and wait and see what they were going to do. Now, Eagles had a good measure of success running the football between the tackles, but Dallas was committed to making sure he couldn't loop outside or Sanders couldn't loop outside. They controlled him inside between the tackles, but they weren't running outside. And then, of course, the next opponent picked up a little bit, added their twist. Next opponent added their twist. And like Marcus just said, Houston's middle linebacker Hughes so far this season has done the best job of being disciplined and making – think about it. Houston, I believe, sacked Jalen Hurts 3 times. And if you look at the tape all 3 times, whenever Jalen stepped up, he had to curl up in a hurry because he had nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
He had nowhere to go.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People are like, oh, well, Jalen's just decided he's not going to run as much. Is it that, or is it defenses recognizing and taking things away? Like it feels to me like they need to make some adjustments on both sides of the ball, not just defense, but offense too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's a mixture of both. It's a mixture of both, but there's some other things you can do. I don't mind seeing Jalen Hurts just take off, line up and gun, and put some motion so you can squeeze down on those ends and just get outside of them and take a 5 to 10 yard run. See Justin Fields. You see what he did.
Oh my goodness.
And Chicago is finally realizing, like, listen, we know what we got here. Let's use him like that, because he's not ready yet. The same way Jalen Hurts wasn't ready last year. And I don't understand. I know it's a coach's ego thing. I'm going to get the best out of these players because I know what it's my system thing, and I know my system works. But it's like, I don't understand what they were doing with Justin Fields. You know he could run, but you know he hadn't developed yet as a passer. And he's going through, he's got to take his lumps just like every young quarterback. I don't know what it is with in the water that they're drinking in the league that everybody wants just, that instant quarterback now. And like nothing has changed. It still takes time. You look at the best of the best that ever do it. You look at Troy Aikman, look at Peyton Manning, and the lumps they had to take before they came Troy Aikman and Peyton Manning. And it seems like in this era of football, everybody wants it to be instant, and that is not the case. And they're ruining a lot of good quarterbacks. And luckily, Justin Fields is in a situation, and Jalen Hurts is in a situation that people finally figured out how to help them develop the right way. Run it, use their legs, use the God-given ability. The passing thing is going to come. If a lot of these young quarterbacks were smart, as soon as the season was over with, I'd be on the phone with Jalen Hurts. Yo, where did you go? Who did you talk to? That's where I want to go. Because Jalen Hurts understood the assignment, and he came back, and he is throwing the ball better than anybody could have ever hoped.
All right, Markus Thomas, we appreciate it, man. We'll check it. Tell folks where they can catch your podcast, man, and when it is and where they can get it.
Man, you can catch me on A2D Radio on YouTube every Thursday night at 7 p.m. And now I have my own YouTube channel, Pro Fan Talk, where I'm just putting up daily content, trying to keep up with y'all, man.
Awesome, man.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no, you're
bro.
doing a great job.
Yeah, brother. Keep doing what you do.
At Coach_Marcus06. So we appreciate it, Coach. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming.
Appreciate you. Yeah, have a good one.
You got it. Take care. That's Markus Thomas. Good insight there. And it's a great listen, by the way. So take a listen to the work that Marcus is putting in. All right, guys, we're going to come back and we're going to dive into the NFL. Get everything from like injury to weather updates. Gunners guy, Amari Rodgers. He found a new home.
Yes, he found a home real quick.
Yeah, you're going to get his new jersey. I know that.
Yeah, okay.
We'll do our AFC power rankings. We got all kinds of stuff in store for you. So don't go anywhere. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network, Derek, Barrett, Rob. All right, so I want to tell you about Razor Technology, right? IT infrastructure environments are more complex and heterogeneous than ever before. Consequently, teams struggle to respond to pressuring issues with the speed necessary to promote positive business results, and the data that powers predictive monitoring and automation is often left unexploited. Razor Technology addresses this challenge with a holistic approach that connects every part of an organization's technology assets, enabling proactive and secure IT operations without sacrificing the agility that drives innovation. Razor Technology automates monitoring and management to bolster IT teams that are feeling stretched thin. And it improves auditing and reporting procedures so that actionable insights find their way to the leaders that need them most. Save time and money on your IT and cloud services and secure your organization with leading end-to-end infrastructure solutions by calling Razor Technology today at 866-797-3282, 866-797-3282, or visit them online at razor-tech.com. That's razor-tech.com.
Don't wait until after Thanksgiving for leftovers.